So in this video, we'll discuss the business communication questions and including their solution. So first question is from chapter 1, three sector of the economy. Question number 1, which sector do you intend to work in or do you already work in? How do you fit in the real picture? So the answer is as I intended to work in a banking sector, which is the part of tertiary sector of an economy. I want to be engaged in banking sector as a CEO, Chief Executive Officer of any banking and financial institution. Many actions or efforts cannot remain untouched from the remaining two sectors of the economy, that is, primary sector and the secondary sector. I need huge furniture, papers, pens, laptop, projector, etc. in my room office to perform my work effectively and efficiently. All these products are obtained and manufactured in manufacturing sector, that is secondary sector. However, I cannot neglect the fact that all the raw materials required to process and finish those products are obtained from the primary sector of an economy. On the other hand, I will be performing my duties and responsibilities in order to fulfill the needs of my customers. My service to the general population and to the business will be contributing to the remaining two sectors of the economy. Providing loan can be one of my duties or services, so the loan provided by my institution to the farmer or to the manufacturing industry will probably be promoting primary sector, that is agriculture sector, or the secondary sector, that is industrial activities and construction. And besides, flow of funds from the banking sector to the restaurants, hospitals, movies through producers, etc., will also enhance the service sectors. Thus, it is clear that my activities fit into the total picture. Whatever I use to perform my obligation and the result of my performance is directly or indirectly associated with the other remaining sector of the economy. Not only me, all the people working in any sector are fitted into the total picture because they are contributing to the remaining two sectors directly or indirectly, either knowingly or unknowingly. Thus, it is thus clear that working in a particular sector means enhancing overall economical activities of the economy. Now, moving to our next question, question number 2. Describe the different sector of the economy along with the examples. Answer. A nation's economy can be divided into various sectors to define the proportion of the population engaged in the activity sector. These sectors are primary sector, secondary sector, and tertiary sector. So moving to our at first primary sector. The primary sector of the economy extracts or harvests products from the earth. The primary sector includes the production of raw materials and basic foods. Activities associated with the primary sector include agriculture, both subsistence and commercial, mining, forestry, farming, grazing, hunting and gathering, fishing, and quarrying. The packaging and processing of the raw materials associated with the sector is also considered to be the part of this sector. In the developed and developing country, a decreasing proportion of workers are involved in the primary sector. About 2 to 3% of the US labor force is engaged in primary sector activity today, while more and two-thirds of the labor force were primary sector workers in the mid-19th century. Now, secondary sector. The secondary sector of the economy manufactures finished goods. All the manufacturing process and construction lies within the secondary sector. Activities associated with the secondary sector includes metal working and smelting, automobile production, textile production, chemical industry, engineering industries, aerospace manufacturing, energy utilities, energy breweries, and bottle construction and shipbuilding. So now moving to our tertiary sector. The tertiary sector of the economy is the service industry. This sector provides service to the general population and to the business. Activities associated with this sector include retail and wholesale sales, transportation and distribution, entertainment, that is movies, television, radio, music theater, etc., restaurants, clerical services, media, tourism, insurance, banking, healthcare, and law. In most developed and developing countries, a growing proportion of the workers are devoted to the tertiary sector. In the US, more than 80% of the labor force are tertiary sector workers. Though the economy is divided into three sectors, it is must not notable fact that all these sectors are associated with each other and each other is contributing to other two sectors. Now moving towards the chapter 2 questions. My chapter 2 name is management and the question number 1 is what is management? Is it an art or science? An intrinsic or set of skills and techniques that can be taught? So answer is that management is the act of getting people together to accomplish the desired goals and objectives of the business and organization using available resources effectively and efficiently. Basically, it comprises planning, organizing, staffing, directing, or leading and controlling the functions. Since organization can be viewed as a system, management can also be defined as human action to facilitate the production of useful outcomes from a system. It is said that management is the oldest of arts and the youngest of science. This explains the changing nature of management, but to have an exact answer to this question, it is necessary to understand both of these aspects separately. Now, what is management as an art? So, arts refers to the way of doing a specific things. It indicates how an objective can be achieved. In the words of George R. Terry, art is bringing about a desired result through the application of skill. Art is thus a skillful application of knowledge, which entirely depends on the inherent capacity of a person, which comes from within a person and is learned from practice and experience. In this sense, management is certainly as an art as a manager uses his or her skill, knowledge, and experience in the solving various problems, both complicated and non-complicated, that arise in the working of his enterprise successful. In the words of in the words of Ernest Dell, management considered as an art rather than science, mainly because manager skill is a personal, professional, and is intuitive. Now, management as a science. Science may be described as a systematic body of knowledge based on the proper finding and exact principle and is capable of verification. It is a reservoir of the fundamental truths and its finding applies safely in all the students in the sense that management is a science that it has developed some systemized knowledge like other sciences. Management has also developed certain principles, laws, generalization, which are universal in nature and are applicable wherever the efforts of the people are to be coordinated. But management is not a pure science as other like physics, chemistry, biology, astronomy, etc. The main reason for the inexactness of the science of management is that it deals with the people and it is very difficult to predict their behavior accurately. In this way, management falls in the area of social sciences. Thus, it is a social science. Now, it can be concluded that management is an art and science both. Now, management, an instinct or acquired skill and abilities. The answer is as in the pre-scientific management period prior to 1880, there has been a leading concept that management is an inborn ability. It is a traditional approach to view management as an instinct. The supporters of this concept believe that hereditary characteristics, inborn talent, and natural aptitudes of a man make him an effective manager. Some people are so efficient and talented since their birth that they lead and get success in the field of business. This concept was used when the ownership and management were not separated. But later on, the resources and the developments in the field of science, technology, and training, etc., changed such old concept. Today, management is considered not only as innate ability but also as acquired ability. In the words of Audrey Tates, managers are both born and made. Today, in the large-sized business organization, ownership and the management are separate entities. The management lies in the hands of professional managers who are educated and trained. Thus, now the management can be considered as an acquired skill and ability. Now, moving to our question number 2, chapter 2, question number 2. Do you think you have the right skill to be a manager? Would you be able, for example, to set objectives, motivate and coordinate the staff and manage a department store or a computer manufacturer? Answer. Yes, I think I have the right skill to be a manager, a good manager. After the completion of my BBA program, I can introduce myself as a middle-level skilled human resource in the field of management, administration, finance, or accounting required by various public and private sector business enterprises and institutions. BBA provides substantial grounding for aspiration managers and entrepreneurs by aid them to acquire and develop managerial competence and leadership abilities. BB program is a blend of theoretical and practical, generic and specific, and national and international knowledge on the business management. Classroom interactions, group discussions, decision making, report presentation, handling, multimedia, event program organization are a few common abilities that is provided to BBA students to develop themselves. Also, specialization courses and internship makes a BBA student able to enough to handle any department or field on which he or she had done a specialization. Thus, there is no doubt that I will acquire the right skill and qualities by the completion of my BBA program to set objectives, manage, or motivate, and coordinate my staffs of my department or organization. I will gain all the skills that I needed in my future to be a successful manager because my BBA course makes me the products that can develop competencies in the writing skill, develop efficiency in project research, display sound presentation of project research, develop leadership and communication skills, and the last one is use electronic media and computer facilities for business communication. Now moving to the question number 3. What is management and what are the essential qualities of a good manager? Discuss. Management is an act of getting people together to accomplish desired goals and objectives of the business and organization using available resources effectively and efficiently. Basically, it comprises planning, organizing, directing or leading and controlling the functions. Since organization can be viewed as systems, management can also be defined as a human actions to facilitate the production of useful outcomes from a system. It is said that management is the oldest of arts and the youngest of science. This explains the changing nature of management. Now, to become a good manager, one needs to possess various essential qualities. Some of them are discussed as below. First one is being able to communicate with people. If the manager is not able to communicate with the people, then he or she cannot be regarded as a good manager. It is utmost quality of a manager. Communication skill is required to gather all the staffs and employees as the member of the organization. Next is being logical, rational, and analytical. Being logical means having reasoning power in every aspect to extract the correct decision. Being rational means making decision based on reason. And being analytical means having the conscience to differentiating between right and wrong on the basis of analysis. Third one is being competent. Being competent means knowing one's job perfectly as well as the work of others. Only after being competent, the manager can be responsible to his duties and tasks. He or she will know whom to report and whom to give order. Next one is being decisive. Being decisive means being able to make quick decisions if the manager is highly logical, rational, and analytical. He or she can make quick decisions without any delay to avoid losses over the organization. Now, fifth is being effective and efficient. Being effective means doing the right job, and being effective means, being efficient means doing the right job in the right way within the specified time. The managers can be effective and efficient if he or she is competent. Other essential qualities can be being persuasive, which means able to convince people easily. Next is having good ideas, which means managers should be creative and innovative. And the next one is being friendly and sociable. And the last one is being highly educated and knowing a lot about the world. Now, next question is, imagine you are a stupid manager and write the most ridiculous memo that you can think of to the all company staff. So in this question, we have to write a memo. So this is the format of the memo. Memo, date, from, to, subject. Subject is about informing and ordering employees and staffs to be punctual. The reason for writing this memo has arisen since many of the employees and staffs of this company are not following the schedule provided to them. I'm requesting lower level staffs not to follow what senior do. Seniors are superiors and they can do whatever they want. All the employees and staffs are subject to follow the orders, not to copy their superiors. This is the warning, and I won't be dealing with this again. So I want all the employees and staffs to be punctual and be on your workplace till the time of the work. Now moving to our chapter 3, company structure. Question number 1. What is company structure? Explain the different way of organizing companies. So, answer. Company structure. Company structure is also known as organizational structure. So, company structure consists of activities such as tasks, allocations, coordination, and supervision, which are directed towards the achievement of organizational aims. An organization can be structured in many ways depending on their objectives. The structure of an organization will determine the modes in which it operates and performs. The company structure allows the expressed allocation of responsibilities for the different functions and processes to different entities, such as branch, department, work group, and individual. There are different ways of organizing the companies and can be termed as organizational structure types and are explained as follows. First, line structure. Line structure is also known as hierarchical or pyramidal structure. There is a clear line or chain of command running down the pyramid. The approvals and orders in this kind of structure come from top to bottom in a line. This kind of structure is suitable for smaller organizations. Such a structure is informal in nature and has fewer departments, which makes the entire organization a very decentralized one. Second, functional structure. This kind of organizational structure classifies people according to the functions performed by them in the organization. Sales department, customer service department, production department, accounting department, administrative department, etc. can be under the supervision of vice president in functional structure. People are usually more concerned with the success of their department than that of the company. Next is matrix structure. This is a structure which is the coordination of functions and product structure. A matrix organization frequently uses teams of employees to accomplish works in order to take advantage of the strengths as well as make up for the weaknesses of functional and decentralized firms. In this structure, people report to more than one superior. And the last one is team. Team is one of the newest organizational structure developed in the 20th century. It is a temporary group that are responsible for an entire project and is built up as soon as it is successfully completed. It can be both very vertical and horizontal. The most distinct feature of such a structure is that different tasks and processes are allotted to specialized teams of personnel in such a way as harmonious coordination is struck among the various task teams. And the division structure, network structure, virtual structure, etc. are other forms of organizational structure. It is important to find an organizational structure that works best for the organization, as the wrong step up could hamper proper functioning in the organization. Now, moving to the question number 2. What are the advantages and disadvantages of working in a big or a small company? Answer. Working in any organization and contributing to the national economy is the reason for anyone to be proud and enhance one's ability and capacity. However, there are both merits and demerits wherever one works either with a big or a small company. So answer. In a big company, one will probably get a slightly higher salary than in a small company. Furthermore, big company allow us to become more specialized in our work along with developing and strengthening our potential. Consequently, we may be able to go and work in foreign subsidiary, which helps to raise our reputation. In addition to this, there is a less chance or low probability to be fired in a sudden reorganization or downsizing. On the contrary, a small company never offers such advantages, so all this can be regarded as demerits of working in a small company. For a freedom lover, friendly people, small organizations are suitable, though it provides low salary in comparison to big company that offers friendlier atmosphere. We are often responsible for a variety of different tasks. It also increases our accountability along with developing and realizing our potential. Moreover, we can actually see the results of our contribution to the company, which help to satisfy our self-esteem and recognition needs in the company. As a, Also, we can enhance our skill and capabilities since we can deal with problem face to face. We have independence and we don't always have to wait for permissions from our superiors. We often get greater freedom, flexibility, and openness to change. One of the greatest advantages in working in a small company is that our company may be in a better position in an economic downturn or recession, while big company may suffer a lot. The merits of working in a big company are debates of working in a small company and vice versa. However, there are some similar advantages in both nature of the company, as for example, one can realize higher potential and can get chance to build his or her own separate identity and personality. Now moving toward the chapter 4, work and motivation. Question number 1. Write a short account of the factors that have been or will be important for you in your choice of job. So I have not been walking it, so I can only imagine which factor will be the most important for me in my choice of job. First of all, I will seek a big company that is stimulating and challenging as well as friendly work environment which encourages its professional staffs to do as much as well as possible. The company shouldn't have very complicated company structure that everyone knows what he or she is responsible for and to whom he or she reports. With good structure, I prefer good working condition in terms of enough space, light, heat, and time, not too much noise, and so on. Moreover, I would also enjoy a high degree of freedom in deciding how to complete my tasks and duties. Such freedom requires a high degree of competence, initiative, and responsibility. This would allow me to improve my skills and leadership qualities. What is strictly connected with these factors is the salary. I belong to the group of people that have to be motivated by some financial gains. I would love to do my best for long hours, but I will expect a good pay for that. However, money is not the most important for me. I will also appreciate if the companies are care for my children by providing a kindergarten, and if I have many opportunity to develop, example, training programs, opportunities to travel, recreational activities, career opportunities, etc. In conclusion, the factors mentioned above seems to me the most important today. The excellent jobs should be creative, interesting, challenging, require responsibility, and provide good working conditions along with good administration and good labor relations. Now moving toward the chapter 5, management and cultural diversity. So question number 1 is as, do you believe that it is possible to sum up the national characteristics in a few words? Is there usually some or lot of truth in such stereotype? Or on the contrary, do you find such stereotyping dangerous? Answer. A nation is comprised of so many races, cultures, traditional beliefs, Practices, perceptions, and groups. When we talk about any people or person involved in any particular group, we have the default perceptions set in our mind about them, which we term here as stereotypes. A stereotype is a fixed concept that may be adopted about specific types of individual or certain way of doing things, but that beliefs or may not accurately reflect the reality. This is only a fundamental psychological definition of a stereotype. Stereotype, prejudice, and discrimination are understood as related but different concepts. Stereotypes are regarded as most cognitive component, prejudice as affective, and discrimination as the behavioral component of prejudicial recreations. Stereotype often leads to social categorization, which is one of the reasons for prejudice attitudes and leads to discrimination. So stereotyping is formidable process. The concept of stereotyping was evolved about 100 to 200 years ago, which may not exactly fit the changing context of today's world. For example, Europeans stereotyped Turkish, Indian, and Chinese people as being incapable of achieving financial advances without their help. But today, India and China are the successful country in the world. And even it is believed that sooner or later these two countries may rule the world's economy, the enduring nature of the stereotype is reflected in an evergreen joke about the nature of heaven and hell. Heaven is the place where lovers are Italian, the police are English, the mechanics are German, the cooks are French, and the place is run by the Swiss. Similarly, hell is where lovers are Swiss, the cooks are English, the mechanics are French, the police are Germans, and the place is run by Italians. Stereotypes involves become popular, get bigger, and vanishes away after the arrival of new generation. Due to education and globalization, the nature of citizens of same country vary to a great extent. It is clear that in today's globalization and competing world, the world of education, knowledge, and information making stereotype means making oneself fool and nothing more. It is not possible to sum up national characters in a few words. For example, American includes civils from Africa, both South and North America, Asians, etc. So, how it is possible to stereotype America in few words, which has citizens from various countries? Such stereotypes are even dangerous today. If white people stereotype black people, then it would be the sufficient reason for home conflict in the USA. People need to be individualized that rather than generalized. Stereotype is just a means for prejudice, discrimination, and conflict between the two national or ethnic groups. The entire nations cannot be explained, although um, through nonsense and irrational adjectives. Now, the alternative solution or answer of this question is defining collective characteristics of a group of people carries a truth at some time and can turn out to be dangerous at some times as well. In a social psychology, a stereotype is a thought that can be adopted about specific types of individuals or certain way of doing things. These thoughts or beliefs may or may not accurately reflect the reality. Once the stereotype have been formed, there are two main factors that explains their persistence. First, when the group of members behave as we expect, the behavior confirms and even strengthens attachments or beliefs towards such stereotypes, which forces people to ignore any logical arguments against their beliefs. Stereotypes turns to be fruitful in some cases. Stereotypes can help make sense of the world. They are a form of categorizing that help to simply the systemize information. Thus, information is easily identified, recalled, predicted, and related to. Furthermore, the next purpose of stereotyping is for people to put forward their collective self in positive light. Stereotyping helps in categorizing individual into groups by giving emphasis on similarities within the group of dissimilarities among different groups. People gain social identity and dispersonalizes oneself, or dispersonalized person will abandon his or her individual differences and embrace the stereotypes associated with his or her relevant group. Stereotyping has dark side as well. Stereotypes, prejudices, and discrimination are understood and related, but different concept stereotypes are regarded as most cognitive component and often occur without conscious awareness, whereas prejudice is the affective component of stereotyping and discrimination is behavioral component or prejudicial action. Some possible negative side effects of stereotypes include: first, justification of ill-founded prejudice or ignorance. Second, unwillingness to rethink about one's attitude and behavior towards stereotypes groups, preventing some people of stereotype groups from entering or succeeding in activities of other fields. In another set, stereotyping has its own pros and cons. It can turn out to be fruitful as well as dangerous too. Proper care should be taken while stereotyping or while believing in stereotypes. Now moving to our question number 2. Describe cross-cultural management and cultural diversity. Despite the growth of global brands and some degrees to convergence, degree of convergence that is to become similar of consumer taste and habits, there remains enormous cultural difference among different countries and continents. This clearly presents a dilemma to multinational corporations. Should they attempt to export their management methods to all their subsidiaries, or should they adopt their methods to be a local culture in every country or continent? That is, which is globalization. Globalization is a business jargon for the adaptation of a product or service specifically to its locality or culture in which it is sold. Globalization considers local cultural habits, beliefs, and principles of each market. Managing a multinational company is really very difficult because of different sets of objectives, goals, policies, practice, products, and services from country to country. Now, globalization versus localization, which means simply delocalization. So, the cultural diversity varies from place to place. However, in business perspective, it depends upon certain set of beliefs that the people follow. Some of the example of such diverse culture are as follows. A. First is individualist. They think that the smallest unit of the survival is individual. They identify primarily with self, and the needs of individuals are satisfied before those of groups. It is basically North American, that is US and Canada, and Northwest European, as they are influenced by Protestantism. It is based on analysis, rationality, logic, and system. In this type of management, the status has to be achieved or earned. A person with degree and talent can quickly rise to the higher post. Age and experience does not matter. The more one works, the better one earns. The use system of management is the best example for it. Second is collectivist. For them, the primary group of is the smallest unit of the survival. One is identity. One's identity is related with one membership and role in the group. Harmony and independence of group member are stressed and valued. Latin culture of Southern Europe and Southern America is collectivist. In it, management is based on the personal relation, institution, and emotion and sensitivity. Status come with age and experience, and seniority counts. Reward and promotions come with age and experience. The Chinese and Japanese are the best examples of it. Next one is universalities. So they tend to feel the right is right regardless of circumstances. They believe that there are certain absolutes that apply across the board regardless of the circumstances or particular solution situation. Rules are very important. They distrust particular because mm, uh, they break the rules to help their friends. Germany can be the best example universalist culture. Now the next is particularist. Under this culture, how you believe in a given situation depends on the circumstances. What is right in one situation may not be right in another. Personal relationship and friendship are more important. They distrust universalist because they will not even help a friend. More particularist in Latin Asian countries and Africa are found. Now moving toward the chapter 6 recruitment. Question number 1. Why are there so few women in senior management position? Should this situation change? What advantages or disadvantages would a larger proportion of women in management position bring to business in general? Do you support affirmative actions or positive discrimination programs which attempts to employ women in the context of our country? So the answer, it is true in higher education and in lot of companies that women can get far, but they cannot get all the way to the top. They are flowing possible explanation or reasons for the lower number of women at the top level. First reason is women are not capable of doing the work that it is required at the top. Women are mentally and emotionally attached with their family environment, which creates a kind of problem for them to fulfill their obligation effectively. Women do not have desire to be at the top. It does not mean that women lack the ambitions to get to the top. It means women's approach to work place in that is in general and to leadership that is in particular can have the superficial appearance of a lack of ambition in comparison to their counterparts. There is structural impediments preventing women from reaching the top. In short, there is a discrimination. Men and women in practice and in reality are judged by different criteria and they are expected to perform differently. Workplaces are set up such that the behavior that gets one to the top is more stereotypically associated with men than women. So the female managers are more collaborative and democratic than male managers. Compared to with the men, women use more positive approach by encouraging and urging other rather than a negative approach of scolding and reprimanding because women are not as harassed and aggressive as male in general. Women attend more to the individual they work with by mentoring them and taking their particular situation into the account. In addition, female leaders trends to display a transformational leadership style, which includes charisma, that is communicating the purpose of importance of a mission and serving as a role model, and inspirational motivation, intellectual stimulation, and individualized consideration. All of these positive aspects about women certainly leads to contribute to leader effectiveness, and of course there is a matter of getting the job done effectively. Thus the scenario of a few women in top management would change. However, women in the top management bring some problems. Women are more collaborative, but collaborative effort tends to take the most time compared to the other conflict resolution styles. Also, failure to use collaboration and can stifle innovation and leave other team members feel they have no power. Sometimes women also bring emotions in their workplace, which may hinder their effective performance and create unpleasant environment in the workplace. Ta- Talking about affirmative actions, it affirms that organizations and individuals in many organizations will seek to overcome the effects of past discrimination against women by making a positive and continuous effort in their recruitment, employment, retention, and promotion. Affirmative actions also means that organizations must actively seek to remove any barriers that artificially limit the professional and personal development of women. In the context of our country, no matter how modern the cities are and how much the educated component women are, affirmative action is a must for women empowerment and development. Now moving towards chapter 7, labor relation. Question is as question number 1, what are labor relation and what do they do? A labor relation is an organization of workers who have banded together to achieve common goals such as protecting the integrity of its trade, achieving higher pay, better working conditions such as union through its leadership bargains with employers on the behalf of union members and negotiates about contractors or collective bargaining with employers. The most common purpose of this association or unions is maintaining or improving the condition of their employment. And over the last 300 years, trade unions have developed into a number of forms aside from collective bargaining. They do the following. And so first one is provision of benefits to member. It provides a range of benefits to ensure members against the employment, ill health, old age, etc. Second is protection of workers. Union prevent exploitation of workers and increases their wages, thereby reducing inequality. Third one is industrial action. Trade unions may enforce strikes or resistance to lockouts in furthermore of particular goals. And political activities, unions may promote legislation favorable to interest of their members as a whole. They may pursue campaigning, undertake lobbying, or financially support individual candidates or parties for public office. And the fifth one is complaints. Unionized workers can file grievances against employers who can potentially leads to change in the workplace. Unions are necessary voice for the protection of workers' right and interest as long as employees have needs that need trade unions. Now moving to our chapter 8, production. Question number 1, what is GIT production and what are its advantages and disadvantages? GIT refers to just in time period. And GIT, just-in-time production, is defined as a production system whereby inputs are delivered to the production process just as they are needed. GIT philosophy emphasizes on the production, the what is needed when needed. GIT is manufacturing system whose goal is to optimize process and procedures by continuously pursuing waste reduction. The GIT system is usually created to Taiichi Onho, who was the vice president of manufacturing with Toyota in Japan in the early 1950s. GIT requires a great deal of organizational discipline. It requires tightly managed logistics to ensure the timely arrival of inputs. Supplier relationship is a critical factor in the success of GIT production. Reliability and quality outputs are also critical factor. GIT emphasizes waste reduction, total quality control, and devotion to customers. Some of the major benefits of GIT are follows. First, it minimizes the cost of holding inventory. So the funds that were tied up in the inventories can be used elsewhere. Second, areas previously used to store inventories can be used for other more productive uses. Third, throughout time is reduced, resulting in greater potential output and quicker response to the customers. Fourth, defect rates are reduced, resulting in the less waste and greater customer satisfaction. Fifth is it greatly reduces transportation and inventory costs, etc. However, GIT production system has the following disadvantages. Implementing through GIT procedure can involve a major overhaul of the business system. It may be difficult and expensive to introduce. Second, GIT manufacturing also opens businesses to a number of risks, notably those associated with the supply chain. And the last one is with no stock to fall back on, a minor disruption in supplies to the businesses from just one supplier could force production to cease at very short notice. Now, the next question is report presentation. So first, we have to write the date. Date December 23, 2012 to Greece Khatiwada from Siva Basne. Subject: a feasibility study report about disturbing products in Nepal, namely vending machine. First, introduction 1.1 purpose. The purpose of this report is to suggest about distributing products via a vending machine. 1.2 vending machine and its usefulness. A vending machine is a machine which dispenses items such as snacks, alcohol, cigarettes, and other consumer products to customers automatically after the customer inserts currency or credit into the machine. A research made by Automatic Vending Association gave the following answer to the question why use vending machine. Using vending machines saves money and avoid losses. Using vending machines generate extra income. Using vending machine provide greater satisfaction to the customer. Using vending machine provides easy access to the consumable problem. Second discussion. So 2.1 Analysis of Nepalese market. With the development of the concept of globalization and knowledge of the market, Nepalese market is developing in comparison to the past few years. However, still there are some drawbacks and are listed below. Lack of expertise, manpower due to the brain drain, managerial talent, etc. Very few possesses marketing and storage facility. Though competition due to heavy imports, shortage of capital, defective government policies and procedures. 2.2 Nepalese labor market. Low labor payment, lack of technical knowledge, unease with latest technology, less competent about high number of unskilled labor, mass unemployment, etc. are major characteristics of Nepalese about labor market. In recent few years, even unskilled laborers along with the skilled labor are attracted toward foreign employment, and they even get hired just because they are paid low and are ready to do anything. There are very few or no labor who are very much familiar with the terms vending machine. 2.3 Distributable possible products. The structure of Nepalese market is weak and the government cannot afford coins in a large quantity of big diminution. So the products to be distributed, namely vending machine, are very limited. Candy, gumballs, chocolates, cookies, ice cream, cigarettes, and newspapers are the possible products for distribution on via vending machines since they are cheap and it can be profitable. So moving to our 2.4 mode of payment. The current Nepalese market possesses only coins and currencies for paying the consumable products, and the government cannot afford coins with a high denomination, so above listed possible products can be consumed by inserting coins in the vending machine. Another possible mode of payment can be debit card, credit card, and others. However, such mode of payment cannot be feasible in Nepal. 2.5 Suitable location to install vending machines. In 1980, contraceptive retail sales CRS was the first in the market to introduce the vending machine in Kathmandu at Ratna Park. But CRS wasn't able to meet its goals because Nepalis weren't and still aren't aware about the use of vending machine. But today, the cities of Nepal are quite modern. Hospitals, shopping malls, airports, cinemas, halls, pubs, and cafes, crowded markets, etc. might be the location to install the vending machines. 3. Conclusion. Finally, my story concludes that it is not better to introduce vending machines in Nepalese market. Nepalese market and the culture of civilization is yet to develop properly. The use of vending machines will not arise, and it will not yield any profit until and unless and habit the lifestyle of customers changes. Thus, I recommended you not to install vending machines in Nepalese market at the current situation. Now, question number 3. When you talk about quality, what does different aspects or criteria do you have in your mind? Explain. So, quality is a perspectual condition and somewhat subjective attribute and may be understood differently by different people. Quality is the characteristics of a product or a service that bear on its ability to satisfy stated or implied needs. Quality can be defined as product or service which is free of deficiencies. The perception regarding quality is different from product to product or service to service. Example, good taste can be quality in case of fast food, snacks, but the time of servicing order may be given top priority as quality in case of restaurant meal. However, in general, following aspects come in my mind while talking about quality: durability, fashionable, reasonable price, better packaging, market share, etc. First, durability. Durability is the ability to endure good with a long usable life. Does not quickly wear out so that I will not need it to repair it or purchase new one. People like me from middle class family perceives durable products as qualitative one. Second, fashionable. If the products that I use do not conform to the current style, I will not meet my needs, desires, and expectation. Third, reasonable price. Until and unless the prices of the products is reasonable and feasible, I will not use that product. Each and every people spend their money to get the high satisfaction from the product. If the prices is not reasonable, the product will not create any demand. Thus, it cannot satisfy people. Fourth, better packaging. Better packed products often attract me and sometimes even force me to have that product, which I call quality for that product since it is creating demand. Fifth, market share. The product owning larger market share is certainly qualitative and one because consumer demand more for qualitative goods. Mostly the price intensity of promotions, etc. are changed in the market only when those leading products wish to do so. Question number 4. What do you mean by brand loyal and brand switcher? Why are you loyal to some products and why do you switch to other products? Just justify your answer. So the answer, brand loyal or brand loyalty. Brand loyalty is a twofold aspect consisting of actual brand loyalty and repeating purchase behavior. The latter only covers repeat purchase where the customer buy a certain brand time and again for reasons or convenience or routine. Actual brand loyalty involves a psychological commitment to the brand in question. Being brand loyal means being aware of how advertising the objectives of certain brands works. Truly profitable brands are not brand. They are brand with which customer actually fall in love. Brand switcher, also known as brand jumpers. And brand switcher are those who choose to switch from routine use of one brand to steady use of a different but similar products. Much of advertising process is aimed to encouraging brand switching among the customers, thus helping to grow market share for a given brand. Brand switching can be provoked by a price promotions. In store display, perceived innovation in competitive brands, desire for novelty, changes in quality, level of satisfaction with the most recent purchase, etc. While talking about the brand loyalty, I'm very much loyal to Ansel because of the reason the quality of Ansel is far better than other. It may be but just my perceptions. And since the service provided by it is qualitative. I don't think much while spending money, even if I have a tight budget. It provides greater satisfaction while using internet that is faster and flexible and other variety of services. It is easily accessible for me. Its advertising are often attractive and eye-catching. Though it charges comparatively more than others, it has offered number of facilities like Ansel Safety bonus for bonus money after successful research of more than RS Hornbread, various MP packs, etc., which make those high charges fair. However, I switch some products like noodle, biscuits, cold drinks, dairy products, etc. because of following reason. For me, these products have no great perceived variation in quality. However, sometimes states may interrupt from being switcher. More attractive advertisement influence the uses of this product. Level of satisfaction gained after consumption of these products may vary. Price promotion techniques used by these products can make me switcher. Now moving toward question number 5. Quality and price go together. Generally, low quality goods cost us less. In some exceptional cases, it may not be so. Quality is much sought after things while buying and consuming anything. So, in your opinion, on the context of fast food, snacks, and restaurants meal, how do you define your taste of the quality? The concept of the quality differ from goods to goods and services to services. Regarding my personal opinion, I want the following things. First, fast food snack. A fast food snack is to be eaten in a short while. It may be taken away and eaten on the train too. Generally, if a fast food snack is fried one, it should be fairly warm. Lukewarm food is rather a suspect. It should be crispy and appealing. Beside the warmth, I care the appearance and size of the food. Moreover, it should be fairly or considerably priced too. If it is a take-away food, it should be neatly packed. Fast service is another aspect that adds to its quality. Moreover, the raw material and the whole cooking process should be hygienic too. Sorry. Second, restaurant meal. A full wholesome meal is directly associated with our health, so it should be qualitative. A restaurant meal should be fairly warm too. Lukewarm again is a suspect. I feel hesitation accepting a lukewarm food. It should be fairly cooked. That is, it should not be overcooked, burnt and half cooked. A restaurant food should be affordable and should be served in time. Furthermore, in case of taking the meal, the packaging also matters a lot. If the food is gravy, the proper perception should be used, avoiding to get the liquid contaminated with the wrappers or the container material. Other criteria are kitchen transparency, hygienic food and utensils, proper wastage management, dumping. So this one is only for today, and the next video we'll discuss the remaining one. Okay, thank you very much for watching my video.